Welcome to the next unit, and in this unit, you will learn everything you need to know about cellular energetics.
Cellular energy. Now, all living systems require energy input. And we're going to be learning about thermodynamics and the first and second law and how it applies to biological systems. Now, cells need energy to maintain order, okay? Because cells have local order, meaning inside the cell there is local order, but everything else always wants to go to more disorder. We need energy to build molecules, we need energy to transport materials, to move, to respond to signals, and also to reproduce. Now, energy flows through living systems, okay? So the energy is just transferred from one type of energy to another. And everything starts out with light energy that is transformed into chemical energy in the form of glucose. From that glucose, we create ATP, which is the energy currency in the cell, and we use that ATP to create cellular work, to maintain order and homeostasis. The guided question I want you to keep in mind today is that why must living systems have this why do they have to continuously put in energy? Like, why do we constantly need to generate ATP? So cells need constant energy input, okay, in the form of ATP. Now, this is the energy currency that cells use to power cellular processes. And we do this to do work, okay? We need it for movement and for transport of materials. And we also need it for synthesis, meaning to build macromolecules, to go from a monomer to a polymer. This requires energy, okay? The second one is to maintain order, meaning we want low entropy. When I look at the structure of a cell membrane, that is very ordered, okay? It's not in complete disorder because we need it in order so that it can act as a selectively permeable membrane. Our DNA is also very ordered because it stores our genetic material. And then protein folding is also very ordered because we've learned that structure equals interaction equals function. So it's very important that it keeps that local order. Now, the third reason is so that it can offset entropy. Now, entropy is where everything always wants to move from where there is order or low entropy to where there's more disorder. Everything always wants to move to disorder. And we need to use ATP energy to keep that order. The fourth thing is to maintain homeostasis. Okay, having a stable body temperature, our water balance, the pH balance, all of these things require ATP energy to maintain. Okay, and then finally, recycling and turnover. So molecules and structures are constantly broken down and rebuilt. So we are constantly breaking down molecules and then we're building molecules again. And energy is needed to break down old components and to build new ones. So what is ATP? Okay, ATP is adenosine triphosphate. It has an adenine group a ribose group, and it has 3 phosphate groups. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Now, the important idea here is that when this is hydrolyzed, meaning like when I remove this last phosphate group, okay, the products become more stable. So here is ATP that has a lot of free energy available. And when it is hydrolyzed, we have ADP plus the phosphate group. And because it's in a lower energy level, it's more stable. Okay, so when we break down ATP, when it's hydrolyzed, the products are more stable than the reactant because ATP has a higher free energy in the beginning compared to ADP and the phosphate group. Now, ATP is the cell's currency, the energy currency, okay? And we use it to do chemical work like biosynthesis, where we take different monomers and we build polymers. For example, we can take amino acids and we can build proteins. And in order to do that, we need ATP. Transport. So active transport, where we need to maintain a gradient, okay? In order to do that, we need ATP energy. And also mechanical work, like movement. Here we can see a vesicle being transported in the cell. And in order to do that, it needs ATP energy. Now, ATP hydrolysis alone does not do the work, okay? It's not that we have ATP and that does the work. No, there's a whole process behind it. And it must be coupled to another reaction. And that's what we're going to be focusing in on today. Now, why we need that continuous input of energy. If we stop giving energy, okay, these organized structures naturally break down because everything wants to move to a disordered state. So maintaining order requires a constant energy input, and for cells, it's ATP. Okay, if cells do not have ATP, then it would start to break down. Okay, you will have more disorder, and that means death for cells. Okay, so if the cell can't produce energy, if it doesn't have that continuous energy input, it will break down. So that is why we need energy to maintain the local order. If you like that lesson, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.